raise your fist and recite the African pledge. I pledge allegiance to my African people. I pledge to develop my mind and body to the greatest extent possible. I will learn all that I can in order to give my best to my people and our struggle for liberation through revolution. I will keep myself physically fit, build a strong body free from drugs and other substances which weaken me and make me less capable of defending myself, my family, my African brothers and sisters. I will unselfishly share my knowledge and understanding with others in order to bring about change more quickly. I will discipline myself to direct my energies thoughtfully and constructively rather than wasting time in idle hatred. I will train myself never to hurt or allow others to harm my African brothers and sisters. For I recognize that we need every African man, woman, and child to be physically, mentally, and psychologically strong. These principles I pledge to practice daily and to teach them to others in order to unite my people in the struggle for freedom and independence. That's the African pledge. And we should live by those words, y'all. And that's why we're here at the People's Law School. That's why we joined the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement, so we can embody the words of that pledge. So before we start up the lawyers panel, I wanted to give just a brief overview of what we're doing here today, and also to let y'all know who we are. Uhuru Brother Leon, our other panelists, Attorney Leon Williams is here. So please have a seat, panel brother. Yeah. So, as InPDUM, as an organization, you know, we believe that African people, we got to be organized. And we do everything in our power to bring power to the African community, power in the hands of the African working class. And part of what we do is carry out programs like this one, which is a service to the African community, where you come and you hear, you get to ask lawyers, well-trained and highly skilled lawyers questions, getting free legal advice, you know, and that's important. But the fact is that as InPDUM, we know that the law and what goes on in the courts every day is simply the opinion of those who got power. And the fact is that the U.S. government is controlled by the same ones that we saw in the video who made profit off of slavery. The U.S. government is controlled by the same ones who make profit off the prison industry. And the fact is that what they call the law is but the opinion of the white ruling class, which is why during the times of slavery, it was legal for the police to go and capture an African who was running away trying to be free. And we see throughout the history of our existence in this country, wherever African people would struggle for our freedom. You had stories like Nat Turner, who organized one of the largest slave rebellions in the history of this country. When they finally caught up with Nat Turner, they put him on trial in a court of law, similar to the one that you probably have been to very recently downtown Philadelphia, 13th and Filbert. They put Nat Turner on trial and they found him guilty of a crime. What is that crime? The crime is for trying to be a free African, you know? And essentially that's what we see going on today, where the U.S. government carries out laws that protect the interests of those who control this whole economy, which is why it's not a surprise that 2 million Africans are in the prisons, and why billions upon billions of dollars is generated off of the prison industry. And the fact is that they create laws to justify locking African people up. You got laws out here like, you know, 3 strikes and you out. They call that the 3 strikes and you out law. You know, where you are sent 20 years to life for not the crime that you supposedly committed today, but a crime you committed 2 crimes ago. And by anybody else's standards, that's considered double jeopardy. But they make up laws to keep on locking Africans up. They got laws right here in the city of Philadelphia called stop and frisk, where the police have the right to pull you over anytime they want to. They could pull an African over, tell you to show your ID, throw you up against the wall, throw you on the ground, put a gun to your head, and lock you up. And at the same time, when you look at the economic basis for the city of Philadelphia, you see that they make billions of dollars off of locking Africans up. The city makes $800 stipend from the federal government for every African that they lock up. Minimum. And this explains why they would have policies like stop and frisk in place to round up Africans like cattle or animals to send off to prison. And it got nothing to do whether we right or wrong, but it's a question of who got the power. So as an organization, we believe that we have to struggle for power in our own hands. But that don't mean that we don't organize even to fight on their terms. So this is why we have the People's Law School, where we have Africans who know the colonial law inside and out. They can go to battle with any DA, any prosecutor, any judge in this city or in this country, and defend Africans based on the laws that's been set up. But at the same time, we also struggle on the political front to make sure that Africans have as much self-defense as possible, both in the courts as well as in the streets. So you're going to hear more about the work that we do, and our goal is to build organization. Our goal is to win you to become part of the Uhuru movement and to take ownership of your own struggle to be free, because ain't nobody else going to do it for us. So with that said, we want to move forward with the agenda. Again, we have a panel of lawyers here, a couple of brothers who have been on the front lines in the courtrooms fighting for Africans to be free, fighting to keep Africans out of the prisons. And we commend these brothers for all the work that they have done in that respect. And, you know, so, first I want to introduce to my closest left, a brother who many of y'all I'm sure are familiar with. This brother has been in the courtroom, and if you had the opportunity to see how he gets down, you know why we had to have him at the People's Law School. You know, in fact, you know, when I've seen him do his thing in the courtroom, I had to get out a tub of popcorn because he was telling the police up in the cross-examination. You know, and you know, so we have Brother Michael Core with us on my closest left. We also have a veteran of not only the struggle for Africans' legal rights in the courts, but also in the struggle for Africans' rights as a whole.
Yes, sir.
A brother who has been on the front lines in the streets, fighting to make sure that African people have power, that the cops who commit crimes against African people are brought to justice, work that Michael Cord as well has been involved in, but this brother as well is an activist in his own right, and who also publishes a newsletter, which I'm sure he'll let you all know about. But I want to introduce to y'all Attorney Leon Williams. So we want to move forward the agenda because I know y'all got a lot of questions you want to ask of these brothers, and we want to dedicate most of the agenda to that cause. So with that said, just a couple of ground rules so that this program moves as smoothly as possible. First of all, the two attorneys are going to give basic introduction of themselves and whatever overview they feel. And then for the next hour, we're going to dedicate to asking questions. And I know that, you know, we can get real passionate about the discussion that we're going to get involved in, but we want to make sure that we have a well-organized discussion as well so that every single word is heard, that we all have one discussion, and so we can all benefit from the entire discussion. And I would definitely recommend that y'all, you know, pull out, if you have writing materials to take notes with, you should definitely have that with you so that you can make the most out of this whole process. And I'm your facilitator. My name is Diop Olubala. I'm the local branch president of InPDUM here in Philadelphia.